Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about how dark matter makes up 85% of the universe. We can't see it, we don't know what it is. We just know that our equations for explaining the universe don't work without including it. But it does have gravity, which is why we can detect it and measure its impact. It's the same way with life, except that our dark matter is cycles. We can't see them, we can't touch them, and there are too many to fathom, but every single one affects us to some degree at multiple points in our lives. They're the invisible underlying currents that drive us. As this decade rolls by us, we're caught up in an armada of economic, political, financial, social, and geopolitical cycles that are changing the face of our world. We're about to move much deeper into the most intense phase of the economic winter season in my 80-year economic cycle. More on this later. With it comes a once-in-a-lifetime great reset of debt and financial asset bubbles and the emergence of a whole new economy, as occurred in the 1930s. Think of the advantages if you could have seen that great reset coming. The sale of a lifetime in financial assets back then. We are also entrenched in the converging downside of the four fundamentals. Four key cycles that are critical to the performance of stock markets, the survival of economies, and the safety of citizens all across the globe. And I'll talk more about this later as well. All four have been on a negative trajectory together since early 2014. This convergence happens infrequently. The most comparable to this one occurred from late 1929 into 1934, giving us the worst years of the Great Depression. The only other such event in the last century resulted in the massive inflation of the 1970s. This cycle will continue to deepen through early 2020, with aftershocks into at least 2022. But what really sets this century apart is the addition of the three harbingers of revolution. We last saw the most turbulent of these three cycles, the 250-year revolution cycle, during the American and Industrial Revolutions of the late 1700s. The 84-year populist movement cycle is back. The last time this cycle rolled through, we had to endure the horrors of Hitler and Mussolini. And there's the 28-year financial crisis cycle, hanging over our heads like the sword of Damocles. Andy brought the 84 and 28-year cycles to my attention. I've been using the 250-year cycle for decades. I also have an 80-year cycle that is very close to his 84-year cycle. This is going to be fun. Let's look at each of these harbingers to better appreciate how they're going to revolutionize our world. Harbinger 1. The 250-year revolution cycle. The current revolution started in mid and late 2016, with Brexit and then Trump, and it could last a decade or two, to as late as 2033. The last one started in the 1760s, with the 13 Colonies' Rebellion against the Sugar Act of 1764 and the Stamp Act of 1765. It culminated in the Boston Tea Party in 1773. The First Continental Congress was formed in 1775, followed by the Declaration of Independence in 1776. The Revolutionary War lasted from 1775 to 1783. That period, from 1765 to 1783, was the birth of democracy. That was a very big deal, and it's still spreading through the emerging world. From 1776 through 1789, Adam Smith published 5 editions of his breakthrough book, The Wealth of Nations. He's considered the founder of classical economics and the first to express the dynamics of free market capitalism, what he famously called the invisible hand. Sounds like dark matter, doesn't it? This era also marked the practical beginning of the Industrial Revolution around the emerging breakthrough innovation of the steam engine. I call this When Harry Met Sally. Two opposite principles converged to create the greatest advance in standard of living in perhaps all of modern history. Capitalism rewards individual contribution and risk-taking. Democracy is inclusive, giving everyone a say via the right to vote. This aligns the troops with the generals. The 250-year revolution cycle before Harry Met Sally saw the Protestant Reformation, starting with Martin Luther's 95 Theses, posted in 1517. This created a split in the Catholic Church and played into the power of the printing press, invented in 1455. This period also saw the emergence of one of the greatest inventors in history, Leonardo da Vinci. There was a clear intellectual revolution in this late stage of the Renaissance, from roughly 1517 to 1532.